blessed and merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Right. So, from listening to all that would have been spoken thus far, what I have gathered, the beatitudes are promises that were given to us by God. However, in God's true fashion, there are conditions attached. So he promises that he will bless us once we meet his conditions. So one might think, well, why doesn't God just give us the blessing? Maybe he's bribing us into service. I want to ask you, why do you think that God's promises have conditions attached? Usually? Because he's a loving God. To many persons, having conditions attached to good things may not seem as an act of lovingness. So, someone else tell me, why do you think that God's promises have conditions attached?
Take him for granted.
What's that?
That we don't take him for granted.
Because we can take them for granted. Mm-hmm. Why? Yes, Christian.
I wouldn't say much conditions, more a reaction, I would say.
A reaction?
First one, a condition, I still get things is not more like a reaction. Like if it invisible, then the outcome, when the natural reaction to that, you'll be lesson will be about what I praise.
Mm-hmm. But then in flip, we could look at it where it is, how do I explain what I'm doing? Why can't we just get mercy from God? Why do I have to first give mercy in order to get mercy? That's what I'm asking. So he's giving us a quote unquote a condition where if we are merciful, then we will get mercy. And in a lot of things as well, we see where God says he will bless us if we keep his commandments. But why do you think that God gives us these conditions or stipulations to his blessing?
But we have to keep in touch with him first.
Yeah,
To
keep
get the
in touch with
mercy.
his mm-hmm.
Because he given us mercy for us to dispel to others.
True. And yeah.
He wouldn't like force his way onto us. We have to at least be willing to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Because no, for instance, you're breathing your nostril. It's free, but you have to do the action in order for the real you understand? Right.
Sister Hernandez.
Is that what made everything perfect? What made everything good? And we messed up. And Jesus was willing to give his life, and he was innocent, he didn't do nothing wrong. So we want everything to be our way all the time. Must Jesus bear the cross alone and all of us go free? There is a cross for each and every one of us. We had it nice in the beginning when our first parents messed up. We had it nice. Right? But since our first parents messed up everything, Jesus paid the penalty. But Jesus can't just leave it just so we might mess up again.
Yes, it's not
I think when Jesus is several, it's for character development. You ever look at children from well-to-do families and they get everything easy. They have no sense of responsibility. And I think that's what God was fostering us, character and a sense of responsibility.
Amen. What the work faith in the church. Find work for idle hands.
Yes, sir.
Well, the condition for his blessing has to do with a covenantal partnership.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm just looking at it here, and it has to do with shaping character and maturity. And it says conditions are often tools for spiritual growth. You see, what we had to look at, and even coming up on this, it sent me back to the Garden of Eden. And I'm sorry, I love Genesis too much. But it sent me to the back of back to the Garden of Eden because of the fact that when God made man, God wasn't just a physical. God created man in a spiritual being. Let us make man in our own image, after our own likeness. God is a spirit. Christ even tell the woman in John 4 at the well that worshiping God has to be in spirit and in truth, and the reason being is God is a spirit. So there's a condition as to, or there is maybe a condition or procedure as to how we should worship God. So the thing is, the blessing has to do with oh gosh, I tried to say so much. I think covenantal oh gosh, I just said covenantal partner relationship. It has to do with a covenantal relationship. And the truth and the fact is that when man sin, we lose. There's something that we would have lost. We didn't lose it all entirely, but we lose it to the point that rather than leaning to the side of God, we lean in our own way. And hence the reason God is saying, well, I am willing to bless out of the unconditional love that I have. Even though I am willing to bless, right? But here what happening? This blessing has to come with condition because I need you to come back to where you were. Or what was lost, it needs to be regained or reinstated back in you. That you may come back to where I would have, to the first in creation, the image and the likeness. You must, sorry, so much.
I think we get the
I
the essence of what you're trying to say. Sister Fiona and Brother
The
Thomas.
Bible says that sin won't enter into heaven a second time. Right? And Jesus also said when he was leaving earth, I'm going to prepare a place for you. And if I go, I'll come back and receive you unto yourself. So he had to train us for that place. We cannot train ourselves how we want. Jesus had to train us for heaven.
Amen. Yes, Brother.
I believe that conditions and God when God make a promise, there was a condition. The condition is to elevate us into a position to receive the promise.
All right. Yeah.
Because when we ask for a promise, and the condition is ready for us to grow to receive the promise, so that we will be able now to use that promise to bring honor and glory to God.
All right.
So the condition is ready for us to elevate ourselves to receive it, because God is about transforming life. Right? And you ask for something, and you ask for a car. Right? But and you ask it from a selfish perspective. But as I grew with God now, God elevated me now to a position where I can see now I can use the car for evangelism sake. So I was elevated now from self to using this gift from God to glorify His name.
Amen. And one of the reasons why I really ask this question is because a lot of Christians that are looking at Christianity from the outside, they often tend to label Christianity as a bunch of do's and don'ts. And it's a lot of those that they hear. But when I was looking at the text, blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy, I realized that the condition in this text was cushioned by good things. Because the text starts with a blessing and ends with a blessing. The condition is just a minor part of that equation. And as was mentioned, the conditions that God would place in His promises or His blessings are really and truly for our benefit. Because God knows in our sinful state that, as Brother Thompson would have said, we're not really equipped or qualified to receive the blessings that He has in store for us. And so He has set these things up in our way to, as Sister Pierre said, to train us, to help us to reach to that space where we would be